On May 1, 2011, U.S. Special Forces exited the residence with the body as well as a treasure trove of papers, hard drives and other storage media. Although it has taken years for the information to leak out to the public, it appears that Osama bin Laden had been a believer in global warming. The terrorist leader noted in one communication attached is a report about climate change, especially the floods in Pakistan. Please send it to Al Jazeera. The plans that he created come from research on the 1991 Kuwait oil fires set by Saddam Hussein's retreating army. In August 1990, Iraq's leaders decided that if its forces were expelled from Kuwait, that they would destroy all Kuwaiti oil-producing capacity before they left. To achieve this goal, Iraq's engineers targeted Kuwait's oil wells, their tank farms, pumping stations, pipelines, refineries, and loading terminals. In short, Iraq planned to eliminate Kuwait's entire petrochemical infrastructure. Satellite images showed the number of oil fires peaked in February 1991. In total, Iraq ignited or damaged more than 750 of Kuwait's oil wells. The first fires were extinguished in early April, with the last one capped on November 6, 1991. Various sources estimated the damaged wellheads released approximately 5 million barrels of crude oil and 90 million cubic meters of natural gas each day. Studies done over the peak months calculate that CO2 emissions increased by over 3%. Those fires were set to burn oil and destroy wells, and not heave CO2 into the atmosphere. They burned excessively hot and instead sent large quantities of ash and soot skyward. This pollution stayed airborne for a short period and then fell to the ground. The videos of the oil fires must have stirred his imagination, for scattered among his papers were his plans for Africa. There are huge untapped deposits of coal and oil in Central Africa. What if 15 of the countries in Africa that do not have a coastline got together and dug thousands of trenches? The pits would be filled with a slurry of oil and pulverized coal and set on fire. Pipelines filled with water would produce steam and make electricity. Excess steam could be sent to residences through heavily insulated flexible tubing. This will provide a way to cook without needing to burn wood, thus saving a valuable resource and offering camouflage for the operation. The small scale of the individual projects makes them inexpensive to build. The electricity generated would modernize a large section of the population. In thanks for the electricity, there would be another huge group of people loyal to bin Laden. Of course, this would only be step one of the blot. Those fires will be capable of producing enough CO2-filled pollution and soot buildup to warm the climate and speed up the melting of the ice caps and glaciers. It will cause massive weather events to increase in frequency. This would quickly disrupt the global economy as coastal nations scramble to find a solution to the rising sea levels. Air traffic could be reduced, or even eliminated in certain areas, causing even more economic harm. Thousands of scientists must have convinced bin Laden that this is possible. Barack Obama recently stated that climate change constitutes a serious threat to global security. So, wouldn't it make sense that openly burning all that coal and oil would send enough CO2 into the atmosphere and speed up global warming? Fast forward to today. ISIS is spreading southward through Africa. They have hired leaders that were loyal to bin Laden, and they have his plans. They also have access to Taliban heroin money. They've robbed banks along the way and possess storage rooms full of cash and gold. They are selling oil in the black market. ISIS and the Mafia traffic everything from humans to drugs into southern Europe. They are going into the mining business in Afghanistan. And recruits are raising funds over the internet with M-Pesa. Their tactics have been very convincing so far. They saw that the Kuwaiti fires disrupted air traffic. Even though bombing small trenches is hard enough, doing it through a smoke screen would be even harder. Once the mining and drilling begin, the pits could be dug near the sources. The process can be done in small, easily camouflaged and highly defendable clusters. If the science is right, that burning fossil fuels will cause seawater to rise and send more hurricanes ashore, this will be a very effective and powerful weapon. A weapon so horrible that it will destroy worldwide economies. The mass evacuations from the coastal communities and the destruction they will leave behind will be too expensive for all but the most resolute. The inability to gather and disperse resources from ports will cause starvation on a global scale, and the financial toll will bankrupt most governments. Electricity will be hard to produce. Power grabs will foment revolution. And street gangs will rule. The void will of course be filled by ISIS.